of people are excited to hear about your story.
Thank you. It's been a while since we shared. So the whole time, like leading up, we're like, should we start from this point? Should we start from this point? we'll do our best. Yeah.
So many times.
So yeah, and especially because it's been 7 years, it's hard to remember all the details. But yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Jamie is from Ageless Beauty 143, and she also started Raw Food Worldwide Meetups. You guys can find her there. And Daniel is from Spiritual Superman, and maybe he can also share with us a bit about himself, because we don't know so much about him. A lot of people follow Jamie because of all the cool things she's sharing online.
You want to share a little bit?
Oh yeah, sure. Where should I start?
Well, you could start with your health journey, maybe.
Okay, I've been vegan since 2013, and I was I'll start back from the beginning, I guess. So when I was young, I really wanted to be an athlete. I was really into athleticism, and I was working out really hard. And then I got hit by a car at 17, and I kind of delayed my life a little bit. I went down the wrong path after that and started smoking cigarettes, hanging out with the wrong people. I just was not a very happy person. And then eventually, after I got out of college, I went to college for computers. Wasn't really interested in doing that, but I did because my parents kind of said that's a good way to go. So I kind of followed that. We worked at IBM for 7 years, worked up the ladder, and really was in a corporate world. I really wasn't happy, was overweight, out of shape, wasn't working out anymore, wasn't really into health or wellness or anything like that. And then at some point I just got an epiphany. I said I should change my life. And I read this book called Clean. And the book talked about how maybe your health, your issues could be related to the food you're eating. And that connection, I'd never made that connection before. So after that, I decided to try to change my diet a little bit. I cut out dairy, I cut out some of meats, and cut out gluten. And I just start to notice that, my face was clearing up. I was just feeling a lot better in my stomach area. I had more energy. I started working out a lot more, and I got into sports again, and then just got really addicted and excited and passionate about health and wellness.
And then you got into your spiritual path.
And then I got into spirituality after that, because I feel like when you start to kind of lead that way, because you're like, how else can I improve my life? And I thought, well, spirituality is one way to improve my life. I improved my body, but what about my mind and my spirit? So I really got into spirituality, and I read a lot of spiritual books, watched a lot of documentaries, and then I started to meditate and do affirmations and things like that. And I started to notice that it was improving my life. I was starting to take control of my life and, have life on my terms instead of what was dictated by society and my parents and life and everything that was thrown at me. I started to decide what I wanted for my life. So I left the corporate world. I went to work for this amazing company called Mind Valley that worked with authors in personal growth and spirituality. And I moved to Malaysia. I left Canada, where I was living, where I was born. And I decided to follow a different path in life. And I worked for this company, Mind Valley. And like I said, I was a content creator there, and I learned a lot from the people there. Everybody was very young and vibrant and healthy and excited. And it changed me, it changed who I was. And then after Mind Valley, I went to travel around Thailand and Bali, stayed there for about a year, and spent some time with some spiritual people, started to do a bit of life coaching. I also dabbled in shamanism. I did a bunch of things, and I really spent a lot of time meditating and learning about myself and growing and healing my past, and did a lot of inner work. And then I was ready. At some point one day I was on the beach, and I had this inclination that maybe the right place for me is California. I was ready to reintegrate into society, but I didn't feel like Canada was a home, was the right place for that. And I had traveled to California a few times when I first started my healing journey, because I wanted to check out vegan restaurants in California and Los Angeles, and so I thought, I'm going to take a few trips, and I loved it. I was running out every day. I was loving the weather and the sunshine. And when I was in Thailand on the beach one day, I said, I think I want to go to California. And when I came back to Canada, I managed a health food store for about a year, and then
That's when we met, right?
That's when we met. I decided that I was ready to move to California, and we randomly met, and we can go into that story a little bit.
Well, just to finish off, like who you are.
Oh yeah, who I am now.
You moved here.
I moved here.
I'm now in LA.
I moved to LA about a year after that, and then
now you're working at.
And then now I work at a biohacking company called Next Health that does next level health modalities like red light bed, sauna, a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, different blood tests you can do, IV therapy, ozone therapy, all kinds of new advanced therapies that are good for preventative care, getting your health to the next level, basically. So, that's where I am.
Sounds amazing. Yeah. Wow. And then you guys met. I just want to ask you, could you share your story? How did you guys met, and how did the universe kind of put each other into your path,
It was kind of magical because the way it happened, everything was very synchronistic. It was a time when I was ready to move to California. She was living in California. She had messaged me 6 months earlier asking me about some meetups in Sedona, which is, you can tell if you want.
Okay, I'll tell this part because this is kind of like my point of view of the story. I actually I want to create a book and maybe a movie eventually about the story. So I put it in ChatGPT today, like my blog, and had it create an outline. And I was like, can you intertwine our two stories together, so that like the timeline matches up? So it's interesting because there were synchronicities for me going all the way back to my childhood. That when I met Daniel, it was like a light bulb that went off, and it was like the universe saying, this is a sign, like don't look past this. So I had to, I was a single mom. I had gotten divorced a few years back, and I was seeing this one person who I thought was my soulmate, and it wasn't flowing, but I really thought that me and this person were supposed to be together, but it was like so wishy-washy, and I had so many doubts and questions and wondering. And I went to see this woman who was a psychic intuitive. And I asked her about it, and she's like, no, this guy that you're seeing right now, he's not the person that you're supposed to be with. She goes, but your perfect match is out there. He's very close. He's waiting for you to, what is the word where you clear things out of your life to make space for him. So it's almost like the universe was like waiting for me to let go of things in order for him to be able to align with me.
To find a divine connection, to
find
energy. Yes, get rid of all the negative beliefs and things that you weren't ready yet to meet Daniel at that stage. You had to let go of things. Yes.
And because I wasn't able to let go of this other person, it was blocking the flow of him coming into my life. So when she told me that, I didn't believe her. And I was like, no, I don't think she's right. You know what I mean? So, but I started to get really deep into my spiritual path and spiritual growth. And I met this friend, and she was teaching me about law of attraction and things like that. And, we wanted to take a trip to Sedona. For some reason, Sedona was calling to us. We were just getting all these synchronicities to go to Sedona.
It's a spiritual vortex in Arizona, a very spiritual place.
Yes, I heard about this. I heard about this. It's amazing. Yes. Carry on.
So I went on meetup.com, and I joined some meetups in Los Angeles to meet some like-minded spiritual people in different communities. And then I also joined some meetup groups in Sedona. And it's interesting because the guy that I thought was my soulmate, his name was Daniel, and the name kept popping up. My long guy's name was Daniel. My best friend who came into my life, her name was Danny. I kept seeing all these Daniels and Dannys and coming into my life. So when I joined Meetup, I joined the meetup groups in the spiritual meetup groups in LA and Sedona. His name kept popping up. This random person that I have no idea who this is, and when I looked at his name was Daniel, the same as the other guy. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe this is a sign, something, I'm going to meet people in Sedona. So I messaged him saying like, hey, I noticed we have multiple meetup groups and, I want to take a trip to Sedona. And I'm like asking him about the spiritual community there and everything. So he told me about this raw vegan restaurant there in Sedona. So, so I was like, cool, thanks. I appreciate, you letting me know. That was it. It was like a quick, like, 3, back and forth, 3 sentence. It was like so quick. I didn't read into it at all. So a year later, 6 months later, he popped back up on my, a year later. This was a year later. He popped back up on my, my thing again. And he asked me if, wait.
No.
6 months later. Yeah.
6 months later.
I had went to see Joy again, the psychic intuitive, and she's like, I'm telling you, the guy that you're stuck on is not for you. You need to let him go because you're perfect match. You're already connected to him somehow, like through friends or something. He's already like, you've already like kind of connected with him and he's ready to come into your life, but you got to let go. And I was like, okay, fine. So, I let go. I cut it off. I was like, I'm sorry, can't talk to you anymore. And I spent like the next 2 weeks in my backyard, meditating under my big weeping willow tree in the grass, like listening to law of attraction material, just like vibing out on raw foods, and I got to this state where I was like so in love with life and myself and everything that I wasn't even thinking about my soulmate anymore. And then that's when he reached out to me 6 months after we had briefly spoken.
So what happened that day, that morning, when I did message her, I had woken up from a dream I had about somebody who I thought could be my soulmate.
Oh, wait. I didn't tell the story of the car.
Okay, you want to tell that quickly?
Yeah. Okay. So 2 weeks later, right, I'm driving in the car. I got the windows down, the sun is setting, and I'm listening to this song, Codaline's All I Want. And there's this instrumental buildup in this song, and it's so amazing and powerful. And I just, I don't know, something came over me where like, it was this very, very spiritual experience. I felt like I could feel my soulmate, this perfect match that she was talking about. Because I always, my whole life, I always felt like there was somebody out there for me. Even though I was in my past marriage and past relationships, I always just had this longing that there was like this perfect match for me. So I'm driving in the car and my whole body started to vibrate. And I was like, oh my God, like I can feel him so close. Like it just, I don't know, it just felt so like real. And I don't know why, but like words are so powerful. And I started crying because it was like this beautiful, amazing experience. And I screamed out the window at the top of my lungs, just to the universe, to whatever's listening, bring him to me. And that's when I started to vibrate, and I felt like this amazing like energy just kind of like flow through me. It was almost like I could feel my words penetrate through like all of existence. It was just incredible. And then 3 days later,
like I said, I woke up from a dream that I had about somebody who I thought was my soulmate, but I didn't realize it was her at the time. And I just remember the feeling that, okay, I think I'm ready to meet my soulmate. I was not in a relationship at the time. I had decided that I was just going to, just be single and just allow whatever happened happen. And that morning I woke up, I said, I think I'm ready now to meet the girl that I'm supposed to be with. And maybe an hour later, I was on the Meetup app and not thinking about the dream, not thinking about about that feeling about the soulmate. I saw the message that she had sent me 6 months ago saying, asked me about Sedona. And I said, let me just message her and say, how was your trip to Sedona? And I did, still not thinking about anything about the dream. All I saw was her little picture, so didn't know, it could be her. And we just started chatting from there. And we just kind of ended that first conversation on like, if you're ever in California, come visit. And I said, yeah, I think I'm planning to come there at some point, so I'll come visit. And
but the interesting thing is, his dream was like around the same time that I had that epiphany in the car.
Right.
Wow.
It was just wild.
It's like,
yeah.
So it's like just the energy just aligned.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It was but then we didn't get to that part yet. So this is where we mess up. This is why we need a movie.
and then after that conversation, the next day we just somehow just started talking again, and we were only chatting through the Meetup app. There's a messaging system on the Meetup app, and we were just chatting through there, and we were writing pages and pages of text to each other over the course of
But wait. Yeah. Hold on. The first night we spoke, it was like we realized we have so much in common.
Yeah.
That when we left it, we're like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, I plan to come to California, because he's always wanted to move to California. He's like, I plan to go there and like travel around. And I was like, well, if you come, let's meet,
Yeah.
So then we just left it as cool. All right, well, nice chatting. But then I don't know, I just didn't want to let it go. So the next day I messaged him saying, hey, can you share more about your story of when you moved to Asia and, your whole spiritual path and everything.
And we just got into whole discussion.
But that's when we realized about the dream, when he was like... I realized
that she could be the person that I was dreaming about the night before, because
she looked like me.
She actually looked like you, but I had not made the connection before, but she did have...
And it was a very vivid,
at the time,
vivid dream.
Yeah, it was very vivid. It was a very pronounced dream that,
that's what made him wake up to think, I'm ready to meet my soulmate. Right, it was like such a profound dream.
And then, like you said, we chatted for like 3 weeks
straight.
Wait,
no. What? After 3 days of messaging, we were already starting to like have feelings for each other.
Yeah, we had strong feelings already. We were feeling it.
And then 1 week after the first message that we're chatting is when I invited him to come to California to stay with me for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then...
Yeah.
And then it was only 3 weeks after we messaged.
So
that he bought a one-way ticket.
Yeah, 2 weeks after that, 1 week.
So within these 3 weeks of him flying to California, you bought a plane ticket.
I bought a plane ticket. Got out of my lease.
Got out of his apartment.
Sold my car, a bunch of things that I had, and just decided to just come. Packed a suitcase, and I said, if it doesn't work out, I'll just go on my way to California, keep going. But and then 3 days before my flight, I messaged her. I said, let's have a video call just to see if we connect.
Because we only saw one picture.
We only saw one picture. Yeah. We didn't have a phone number. There was
we didn't have social media. We didn't have phone
Facebook,
numbers. We just trusted. We only saw one picture of each other.
After a week, you said you invited him to Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
or was it? But you still haven't met yet.
No.
And then he was going to come for Thanksgiving after that.
No. He came to move here. He got out of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But without
the day
Yes.
Without meeting.
Yeah.
It's just at the time, everything felt so right.
And we never even had a phone call.
Yeah, we never had a phone call. It just felt like there's something drawing us, something controlling our...
It was so magnetic.
Us coming together, that when we look back at it now, we're like, how did we do all that?
Yeah, my family thought I was crazy. Everybody just... I had a friend that stopped being friends with me because she thought I was nuts, inviting this guy to...
stranger comes to stay with you. Yeah, but there's just something drawing us that we had no control over, some divine power that we didn't really know. And then, like I said, 3 days before we had the call.
Yes, on Meetup.
Yeah.
On Meetups, you said that you're gonna
just
to have a video call.
Yeah, it's not a dating app at all.
It wasn't a dating app. I was looking for friends.
And we weren't. That's the thing. We weren't intentionally thinking that we were gonna talk to become romantically involved. We were just as friends, and then it just blossomed from those conversations of how deep we went into our life story and how much we had in common. We had similar purpose. We both really want to grow. We were in a growing phase. We both said to each other, we really want to grow with each other, and everything just flowed so naturally and beautifully. And then we had a call, and 3 days before my flight, and we were giggling on the phone with each other. It felt very natural and beautiful.
But before we even had the call,
what was your first impression of each other when you connected on Meetups? The first video. Not the first video, it was, meeting, but the video call.
It was good. I thought it was...
The phone call was good, but when we met at the airport, I feel like that was a little awkward.
It was awkward because we had, everything had sunk in of what we had done.
What the fuck are we doing?
And that we don't know each other.
We don't even know each other.
She picked me up from there. We're driving home. We're just having like awkward conversations.
Yeah, 2 hour drive home in the car.
Yeah, like awkward small talk conversation.
I'm like, should I put music on?
Yeah, like, what should we do? And then I got there.
We got home. We got to the house. Like then we just kind of sat in the room. Like
we started talking.
And we just hung out for the whole night. We just stayed up all night talking,
just chatting.
And then we've been inseparable ever since.
Basically.
And then because when he came while the kids were in New York with their dad for Thanksgiving breaks for 2 weeks or whatever, or however long it was. So we had this whole time to get to know each other before the kids came. And then when the kids got back, it was a little awkward to him. Like, okay, it was my friend.
I was upstairs and she's like, the kids come in and she's like, by the way, there's somebody here. And I came down.
It was he just came down and he was like so friendly. And
I love kids, so it was very easy for me to just talk to them and make them laugh.
Then we had our own
fun.
We had our own Thanksgiving, I think, with the kids. So we made a big dinner, big vegan dinner. We put because they weren't going to be with us for Christmas, so we made almost like Christmas / Thanksgiving or whatever. So then we raised the kids together for 2 years.
2 years over there, and then
Sorry, how many years ago have you guys met exactly? Sorry, I can't remember if you mentioned it.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. So that was 7 years ago, and then for 2 years you guys are dating. Then you got married after 2 years.
No, we got married 6 months after. 6 months. Yeah, just because. We got married 6 months after. We were already sure we want to be together. We're like, let's apply for the green card. Let's do all that. Let's get married. Let's just do it. And then we did it. And then we spent 2 years with the kids living in Victorville, which is about 2 hours from where we are now in LA. Yes. And at some point we decided, I think we should move to LA to explore more of the things that we want. Because where we were here, because where we were is very deserty. And it's like not really, we didn't really have, there wasn't really people that we could connect with. And we wanted to grow and there wasn't any job opportunities, so we just wanted to come to LA to experience more, to grow, to start to meet up and things like that. So everything just flowed beautifully and we just came. And it was very divine, and we just came here, and that's where we are.
That's where we're at now.
That's awesome. And were there any unexpected challenges early in your relationship that helped you grow together?
Oh,
well, the interesting is because we set the intention that we wanted to grow more with each other than we've ever grown with anyone else. It was like God or the universe just sent us every challenge every test possible.
Yeah. I feel like in the relationships, and I talked about this with somebody the other day, is like there's this nice honeymoon phase at the beginning where you're just getting to know each other. And then you get to a point after that.
That's what it shows you. What the relationship.
Yeah, it shows you really the potential of the relationship, that beginning honeymoon phase, like what it could be all the time once you get over a lot of things. So basically after the honeymoon phase, then you start to learn each other's stuff and you start to be more comfortable in, and then, there's some disagreements on how this person is.
You have to heal.
Yeah, there's a lot of healing.
My childhood things,
we all have like traumas that we bring into our relationships.
Ego. We both have big egos.
Egos that we bring from our past, from our upbringing, that we bring into relationships. And I think what makes a relationship kind of work is, one, if you have that deep connection and love, you want to work through those things, and then you just find a way to work through them and you take as long as it takes. You don't just say we're going to give up, because you don't give up, because you love each other and you're meant to be together. So you take the time to work through everything, as painful as it is, as much of a mirror they are to you and show you what kind of person you are, that maybe things that you don't want to see. And then you kind of learn and grow from each other, with each other, to become a better version of yourselves, and then a better version of yourselves together. So
well, for me, I think the things that I really had to grow through was, I had a lot of pain from my past, like past relationships. And he's helped me, because I feel like I was always the runner in a relationship. And he's like so committed, he's like, so I was always like,
I'm not a quitter,
things are getting hard.
You just
I'll be there.
Okay,
Well, like, you know, because for me, it was very hard to deal with communication and uncomfortable situations in relationships. So, you know, but he was like, no, we're doing this, you know.
I'd read a lot of books about relationships and spent a time when I was at Mind Valley. Spent a lot of time studying relationship experts, and so I learned a few things that I thought we could adopt. And yeah, there was a lot of resistance at first, but
because if you think about it, when he was living in Asia, he used to say affirmations to himself. He used to say, I am with my soulmate, I'm living in California, and I'm a good father. He had no kids, right? And then the day I picked him up from the airport, he met his soulmate, he became a father, and he lived in California. Isn't that wild or what? Like, he literally manifested all of those in one day.
Yeah, I would read those every day while I was there, and yeah.
And now the universe has given it to you, and you have to deal with it, because you know everybody comes with baggage. You know, we take a big suitcase with ourselves. The older you are, your suitcase is bigger and bigger. You know,
it's bigger.
Yeah, we were just
a couple suitcases.
We were just explaining to my daughter yesterday that, you know, when you're young as a teenager, it's so easy to date because you don't have any baggage. You know, but as soon as you start getting older, 20s, 30s, 40s. And then you have this huge baggage, then you have to, you know, really be discerning, like you said, and get rid of all your negative belief systems and all the things that you bring with from your family or previous relationships. But if you find the right person, that is it, you know, you don't want to quit on it because you know that person is right for you. You must just obviously work with the process, you know, like what the universe presents you with, all the challenges. And then once you work through those issues, I'm sure you guys felt so connected, even more connected than before, right?
We've come to a place in our relationship now where it feels so harmonious. And it doesn't feel like either one of us are taking from each other. We never feel like we have to entertain each other. It's just like...
It's just natural.
And we live in a room. Like, we live in a studio apartment. We've been living like this for years, and we never get tired of each other, ever. You know? So...
Yeah. It's a long process, of course, and, you know, there's ups and downs, but like we said, if you really care and love the person and really want to make it work, you do everything you can, and I think everybody is capable of coming through it. Yeah.
And
I wanted to share.
Sorry, just
oh my God,
best friends. That's one of the things that you have to have. As the person has to be kind of your best friend, because you're hanging out with them all the time. And that's the only way it's going to work, according to me.
That right there. You have to be able to be. Yeah. And you have to be yourself.
Just say
no. He said you have to be yourself. You have to be able to be yourself.
Yeah. If you can't be yourself with the person you're with, it's very difficult. You just always feel like something's missing.
You're always sacrificing who you want to be. Yeah. I wanted to share one thing, though, about manifestation, because yes, although I feel like this was divine intervention, there was, you know, some part of us trying to manifest, like with him with the affirmations, and with me. A friend of mine, 8 months before this had happened, she said to me she wanted to manifest a guy, and she read this article about this woman who was doing a test on manifestation, and she wrote it down on a piece of paper saying she wanted to manifest a date for a Halloween party. So she wrote it down, she wrote a specific date, and she did. She manifested a guy a date for a Halloween party. So I was like, okay. And she's like, let's do this exercise together. So just to humor her, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. I said, okay. I said, if we're going to do this, I said, I guess I would want to manifest my soulmate before Halloween, because I want to spend the holidays with this person. I love holiday Christmas movies, and I just think it's so romantic when people fall in love at the holidays, right? So I wrote down all the qualities that I wanted this person to have or to embody, and I wrote down the date that, you know, that I wanted to meet them before Halloween, whatever, because I want to spend the holidays with them. And when he messaged me, it was October 24th. 21st. Are you sure?
No, 21st, 24th.
Okay, whatever. It was like October 20 something. And Halloween was on the 31st. And then he flew here on November 18th, no, November 17th or 18th, 19th? November 19th. 19th. And he was here for the holidays.
Oh, wow.
So and then I had forgotten about that because that was 8 months before. So maybe a year after we were together, I was digging through some old papers and I found this list and I looked at it and I just was so blown away that it had turned out exactly the way I had envisioned.
Can you share some of the things that you had listed, maybe something that's not too private, with the audience?
I think I listed things about how I wanted them to treat me. Like kind and this and into personal growth and vegan, just the things that I would want in a partner, So, but he checked off like every box. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how has your spiritual journey as individuals impacted your connection as a couple?
Well, I feel like at the beginning we were intertwined and we went back to see that psychic after we had gotten together. And she said that we need to be two separate people because we were like, it was almost like we were like meshed together or do you know what I'm talking about? And but it was so weird because it was like we were so connected. It was like this. And then we had to like kind of almost like be together, learn to be together, but separate it, but separate, be our own individual, so that has been like a huge thing for us to learn.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And are there any spiritual practices you both share that deepen your bond, that other people can also do, that you can give as an example to other people that are single and, or have a relationship and it's not perfect,
Yeah, I would say reading together is a very good thing. If you read, personal growth or spiritual books together, it really you really absorb the material really well because you're doing it with another person that you love, and maybe she'll read a few chapters, I'll read a few chapters, and we do it like sitting in the sun, outside in nature, under a tree, something like that. It's just very beautiful and connecting. And journaling together, and we do meditate together. We'll lay down together. We used to do this a lot at the beginning when we were really healing. We would lay down, listen to a guided meditation together. And again, same thing when you're reading with someone, you absorb it because it's like almost two minds are working together to like do to get the material. Like whatever the guided meditation is saying, you kind of absorb it. So we'd have discussions about it. We watched a lot of spiritual documentaries together, things like that. Anything that you can do together, And
we spent a lot of time in nature too. Bike rides, a lot of bike rides.
Yeah. Things in nature. So a lot of spend that we would go, for a hike, and we just sit up in nature, and, with a big view. So a lot of things like that, where you're doing spiritual things together.
We did a lot of like eye gazing type stuff, and chanting, connection exercises.
Yeah, chanting. We chant together a lot.
We used to do breath work together.
We do breath work. Anything that we could do that we thought would help us on our journey, we would just do it. We're just called to do it.
And we laugh every day.
Yeah, laughing is very important. Yeah, making each other laugh.
We make each other laugh. That's like my main goal for the day.
Yeah,
like if I can make him laugh early in the day, like I won the day.
Yeah, we feel very complete if we've gotten a chance to make each other laugh, which we do successfully.
And we're so silly with each other.
We're very silly.
We're like so playful and silly.
Playfulness is definitely important, and silliness, nothing things too personal.
So after
serious.
after 7 years, this is what you guys do now? It's the laughing and not taking things seriously. And what are the other things that you do to keep your relationship going and healthy?
I think after we got to a certain point, we're able to, how do I say it? Like we're not reacting to each other as much. Like if the person says something that you may not agree with, at the beginning, I feel like, or even when you're at the beginning stages of your personal growth, your tendency is to react. Your ego wants to react. Like, no, I don't like what you're saying. No, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But now it's more, let me try to understand it from her perspective. She's going to try to understand it from my perspective. And we don't react. We allow the person to communicate what they're feeling. And we kind of just try to understand it from their perspective.
It's really important more for him not to react, for me to feel safe. because if he doesn't react and I feel safe, I feel like there's always peace and harmony, you know, because it's like you don't react anymore.
Yeah, but you also react less.
Because you don't.
No, I think it's the opposite.
we both are not reacting as much.
That's not. You can't say it's one. It's both of us together.
We've actually had to really toy around with the masculine, feminine, because one, we both have masculine and feminine within us, but there would be so many times in our marriage where we would go through phases where he was more in his masculine and I'm in my feminine. And then there was times where he was more in his feminine and I was like more in my masculine energy. And, we've had to like really find a balance of this. I feel like we've really gotten to a really good place with that. Yeah.
It just takes wanting it, doing the work, doing the spiritual work. And then it's just kind of, I always say the mind always goes to work to do what you want to do without you subconsciously, without you even thinking about it. So the intent, as long as the intention is there, it just happens. Yeah.
And keep it positive, like you said, your main goal is to be together for another 100 years, and if you keep that as a positive, then you will work it out, because that's what you want every day. You make that decision every day that you want to be together. I think that's where a lot of couples go wrong, is that they don't realize that every day you have to make that decisions to be together, even if the universe sent you as your soulmate. Some people can have their soulmates and lose it because of their egos, or they don't work through issues.
Exactly. You have to set the intention.
He's been my mentor, honestly. Like he's had to teach me about what it's like to be in a relationship, because I feel like I never really knew what being in a relationship was like, So he's been my mentor, my guide.
Yeah, you've been a great student. I mean, everything I learned, I was able to share with her, and she was. I give it to Jamie.
I had a very negative mindset.
She's a very negative mindset, but she's always wanted to grow and learn things. So even though she would have resistance, it would still seep in, and she still wanted, and she still try harder. As much as resistance there was, deep down, she wanted to learn these things. She wanted to have a great, stable relationship, and she worked really hard to get to this point.
Well, and my purpose too, because when he met me, I felt so lost in my life. Even though I had this dream of I want to do this, or I had all these aspirations and passions, and I didn't know where to start, and he just guided me on like how to get past my ego, how to get past my limiting beliefs, how to get past my negative mindset, all of this, and that's why that I'm where I'm at right now.
No, it's great when you can help each other, and everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and you guys complement each other every day. That's amazing. And what would you say to someone who feels they're searching for their soulmate or divine partner, how to do it? What should they do, and how should they go about it?
That's a good question.
Get in alignment with yourself?
Yeah, I'd say work on yourself a lot. Try to become a better version of yourself in order to attract what you truly deserve and want, because your soulmate may be out there, but if you're not in a good place in your own, mind and body and spirit, then you are blocking that person from coming into your life. You won't be able to see them. You won't be able to see the signs when they're there. You'll ignore them. There's just too much static energy. There's too much interference. So working on yourself is very, very important, I think, in order to attract what you want. And then after you do start to work on yourself, you start to know what you want. And then that's the thing too. Before you work on yourself, you don't really know what you want. So you just go for any person that comes into your reality. You just date people that you may not be right for you, because you don't really know who you are or what you want. And the more you learn about yourself and what you want, the more of your radar kind of zooms in on what exactly you want, and then you start to think, okay, I would like this person to be like this. I would like these qualities in this person. I like those qualities because those are qualities I embody or I believe in. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is working on yourself and then starting to decide what you want in a partner.
But you don't have to be perfect before you get into a relationship. The whole point of a relationship is to grow together.
Yeah, you just have to do some sort of growth, and then at the point where you're ready to go to the next level in your growth, you will meet that person. So you just have to decide that, and then you will attract it.
Yeah.
And not putting too much pressure on, like, I need to attract it now, I need to attract it now. You just have to kind of let the universe and let everything happen.
Just know that even if you reach a high level of consciousness before you meet your soulmate, or you actually meet your soulmate, there's going to be times where you get triggered.
Yeah.
There's going to be things that you need to work on. It's like,
you learn, there's a lot of lessons. Humbling. Yeah. There's a lot of lessons that you think you learn on your own, but that really you haven't actually fully mastered.
And then you get into a relationship,
and you're like, whoa, hold on, she's mirroring things that I actually they're not quite
here yet.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, we are here to.
I think that's why the big.
Sorry, I'm just saying we are here to learn, and the other person helps you to learn and grow. You're not just going to find this person and just going to hang out and be on the same level. That doesn't work like that.
Exactly. It doesn't. Yeah. Even if they're meant to be your soulmate, it's not going to be perfect. There's a lot to do, a lot of work to do.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got a great question for you. Are there any red flags to watch out for when, whether a connection is a divine or not, when someone meets a potential soulmate?
Ooh.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, the thing that I noticed that was different about him is that we were both all in. There was no wishy-washy. There was no games.
Right.
The communication flowed. There was no mismatch in communication.
Yeah, no awkwardness.
And there was no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
There was no doubt. And there was no emotional unavailability, or, in the beginning it was just perfect. And I was like, explosion, fireworks went off,
Yeah, you kind of feel it.
I think if you're texting, if you're messaging someone, even if you have a lot of feelings for them, but they're not feeling the same way about you, that's a red flag.
Yeah, that could be a red flag. Yeah. If they don't share some of your values or qualities, and these are really core values that you have, and they don't share these ones, then you could try to get them to change, but ideally you want to be able to grow with them with these values. So yeah,
I think it's okay, if they're not fully aligned with the values, but their intention is.
But their intention is there
to be with those values.
They want to be, but they're not quite there yet. But they want to be,
Yeah.
They want to be something that you value. Yeah.
He didn't drink, and the day that we started messaging, was the last day I had a glass of alcohol, because when he told me he didn't drink, and I really liked him, I thought to myself, if I want to be with a guy like that, a really great guy, I need to step it up. And I had wanted to quit alcohol for so long, and it was he was the exact motivation that I needed to never touch alcohol ever again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because if she did still drink, I don't know if the relationship would have lasted, and we would have had a big discrepancy there. So
and that's really important for you, Danielle.
Yeah, it was.
Even the thing too, I had been on and off vegan as well, and because he was vegan, I was like, okay, I want to be with a vegan guy. This is what I want. So he knew that I wasn't fully vegan when he came to live with me, but he knew that I wanted to be vegan, so we worked on it together. He helped me to get back to veganism. He helped me get through, because when we first messaged each other, it was the day that I gave up alcohol. So when not only did he get there and we were dating, I was having withdrawals from not drinking for I think maybe even a year in, I was like, I just want to go out to a bar and have a drink. I was like, this sucks. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can not drink.
To communicate and loosen up.
Yeah, so I not only we have to grow as a couple, but I had to grow through all that social awkwardness of not having alcohol, and you know what I mean? Just figuring out who I am without drinking. So that was really hard on me too. I just thought about that. That was that was huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Trying to think of any red flag.
I think just doubt. If you have any kind of doubt.
Yeah, doubt. I think it kind of flows, and it's very divine, and you feel it, and there's a lot of feelings, and I think when it's like that, then this is something worth pursuing. And when you don't,
and when the two people feel equal about each other.
Yeah, when two people feel equally about. Yeah, the love has to be kind of equal, even though
consciousness,
you love each other, both love each other a different way. You kind of love each other in a similar way, like you both have an equal amount of love for each other. If one person loves the other person less, then they may not want to work on the relationship as much as the other, and then there's an imbalance.
One person's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, one foot in, 1 foot out.
Commitment thing. If they're not committed 100% or 150%, you need to be actually committed more than 100%. Then you know the other person loves you, right?
Totally.
And you have, I think even from the beginning, there has to be a flow, the communication, you have to understand each other. Like the communication has to flow. Like if there's like a barrier of communication and like you're just living in two different worlds, like I think that's a red flag. And also there was one last one that I was thinking of, communication and being yourself. I think if you feel like you can't be yourself right from the beginning, I think that's a red flag too. Yeah. And it's, I don't know. I think a sign too is like if the person can make you laugh from the beginning too. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Like having fun together, not taking things too seriously,
Right.
That's also important. Because that lightens up the moment when you're having a big challenge, in your relationship, then you can laugh about it later or something like that,
I mean, it might not be how everybody met, like everybody has a different story of how they met, but for us, that's just how, that's how I would think. Yeah.
Yes, and that's important for you. And I think communication is one of the most important aspects as well of a successful relationship. Definitely. And
100%. Yeah, you have to do and want to communicate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how do you guys envision your love continuing to evolve and grow in the future?
Well, he wants kids one day, but I don't.
No, I'm leaving it up to the universe. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But more so, we would love to, because, I have my work and I'm growing with my work, and she has her business and she's growing. But we do a lot.
Eventually, we want to do stuff.
We do a lot of the meetups together. We host them together. But eventually, we want to do like more together to the point where we have maybe a retreat center together, something special together that we both, created and are part of. So that's the intention.
The point that we came together was we wanted to create something together. We still haven't. I think we're still individually finding ourselves and learning skills and doing stuff, but eventually things are going to align for us to finally do things together.
I think that's how it
who
grows.
knows? Maybe we'll start a podcast together. Maybe we'll
podcast. Like I said, maybe retreats together. Maybe a retreat center one day, and just continue growing our love for each other and our connection, building community. Yeah.
We did feel from the beginning that we were meant to share about relationships and help couples. I don't know if we're quite there yet. I feel like we still have a lot of learning in our own relationship. We've learned a lot, but I feel like
it's a continuous growth process for sure. We've learned a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
But if you think like that, you're never ready, because you guys worked through so many challenges. You've been together 7 years. There's a lot of people that are on your level. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect to coach other people. Then you will feel like you're never going to be ready. So I think that remember that you always help people by just talking about what we're talking today. That's also a huge help, I think. Gives a lot of hope to other people that there is true love out there, divine love, and they will find it if they really want it.
Yes.
Right.
And another thing too is I really want to get like a book out there sharing our story. I want it to be very inspirational, and I would love to eventually make it into a movie.
That sounds amazing.
It's like a romantic movie.
No, not comedy.
No, sorry. A romantic movie does for that's when you watch a romantic movie, you feel very inspired to find love. So
inspired. Yeah. I don't know exactly the vibe yet. I have to really fine tune it, but I think I'll start with a book and then
that sounds amazing.
Go from there.
I think
I've been thinking on that idea for so long, but now that we have AI, I'm like, okay, now I think I can really write this book, because the thing that was stopping me was being able to organize my thoughts, like take our story and organize it into an outline. And then after, we had decided that we're going to do this call and share our story, I was like, maybe I should revisit my blog and reread the story so that it's fresh in my mind to share tonight. And I was like, let me just take my whole blog about how we met and put it into ChatGPT and ask it to create an outline for me for a book. So I was like, okay, this call right now just inspired me to get moving on the book. So
that's amazing. Awesome. And anything you want to share with the audience? You know, anything that comes to mind that you want to share about relationships or divine love, or anything that the universe is placing it in your mind?
For me, I would just say true love does exist.
Yeah. Don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah.
Never give up. Yeah.
And there's this somebody I once heard once is that what you are seeking is seeking you.
Also seeking you,
and you would not have I think Teal Swan said this, you would not have the desire for a soulmate if the soulmate did not already exist, if it wasn't already meant for you. So if you have the desire for a soulmate, then that's meant for you.
That person's already out there.
Yeah.
That other person is also seeking you to be their soulmate, maybe, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And somehow you'll be brought together. Yeah.
You just have to let it, like you did. Sorry, Danielle.
You just have to let it. No, sorry. Yeah, you just have to let it. Totally. You just have to let it. And I think there's just the one thing I want to reiterate is the idea that when you do meet your soulmate, there's still a lot of work to do. It's not going to be perfect. Just don't give up and stay with it. Keep working on yourselves. Keep working together. And if you really truly love the person, it will blossom into something really beautiful.
And if you make it through the rough patches and you push through the hard times, eventually you're gonna get through to the other side, and it's gonna be the Garden of Eden.
It's gonna be beautiful. It's like climbing that mountain, and you get to the top.
It's just amazing after that. So you just gotta keep pushing through. But most people give up before
that's why
they get to that point. They're like, oh, things aren't going well, and
And sometimes it's because the person's not meant for you, but other times
it's because one person wants to grow and the other doesn't. And that's okay.
And that could mean that they're not the right person for you. But when they're right, but that just means that you're getting ready for the next person who could be the right person.
But you will be tested.
Yeah,
you will be tested.
Yeah, but it's beautiful, and it's really great to have a best friend, and it's amazing to have someone that cares about you, that you can hug and hold and talk to about everything, and to share.
And be yourself, and just be your crazy, silly self.
Watch movies with, go to the park with, do whatever you want together with. So
and build a life with.
And build a life with in the future.
Yes,
it's a beautiful thing.
It sounds amazing. I mean, now we know why Jamie is so creative, because you have Daniel who supports you, you know, and vice versa. You know, you have to support the other person in a spiritual journey, like you said. You have to be yourself, and the other person must also support you. That's a huge part, I think, to be yourself.
For sure,
I don't. If he did not. Like, I have been stifled in other relationships where I just felt so self-conscious about myself. He does not criticize or judge me at all, to the point where my confidence in myself and my self-esteem has grown so much being in our relationship, which has given me so much confidence to be able to put myself out there and to create things and not to even care what people think, because those insecurities start at home. They start with the people that are closest to us. So when you surround yourself with people that believe in you and they uplift you and they don't judge you and they love you unconditionally, that's so healing in itself. Just to have somebody that you feel safe with, to be yourself and to explore the deepest, darkest, most beautiful parts of yourself too, and to see like what you really have to offer the world, and what you have to express, and what's inside of you that wants to come out, that you've been stifling for so long because you have not felt safe around most of the people in your life, including teachers, parents, siblings, relationships, spouses, whatever it is. There's so much greatness inside of us that we,
each one of us,
potential that we just have not allowed to step into.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I'm going to take that.
I love
that.
Well done. Is there anybody else in the audience who wants to ask a question that can be asked from Jamie and Daniel about their relationship? Just waiting.
Any questions?
Any questions, you're welcome to ask. And so it sounds amazing. Your love story is just so inspirational, I think. If people will also going to rewatch this, and I think they're going to love your story. It's so true and so genuine. I really feel, in my heart, and it resonates with me, because true love is like that. My marriage is like that as well. My soulmate who I'm married to as well. My husband who's also my soulmate. And I resonate with so many things that you guys mentioned, and it's really true. what you talked about. And then somebody asked, is just tuning in, what is the topic? It is about Jamie and Daniel's divine love story. We are talking about that, Nicole. And you're welcome to ask any question. Please watch the replay, because we talked about so many amazing things, and Jamie and Daniel shared so many amazing, important lessons and things that you have to do to have a real, true relationship. So it's really been amazing, guys. And anything else you want to share last? And where can people find you? You can share it again. Please tell us, and in a couple of sentences, just explain about your channels and what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. I mean,
it's a pleasure meeting you and talking to you.
Yeah, and just to be able to give us the space, you know, to hold the space, like for us to be able to share the story. This is something that one of the things that we've wanted to do together as a couple since we met, like since before he even moved here. We're like, this story is amazing. We need to share this with the world, you know. So I just really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
And what was the other? My channel is Ageless Beauty 143, and
I'm Spiritual Superman.
Spiritual Superman. Tell them why you chose Spiritual Superman.
Because I grew up really I wanted to embody the values of Superman, not just because he could fly and had cool powers, which of course are amazing, but he also was a very good-hearted person. He never wanted to do anything wrong. He was very non-judgmental and very caring. And I always imagined myself being that person when I grew up, that I really want to be a very caring and kind and loving and good to everybody kind of person. And I spiritual, because I became very, very spiritual over the years, and I just combined the two to create Spiritual Superman. Yeah, I've always felt myself as a spiritual Superman. So, yeah.
Somebody asked, a couple plus Jesus Christ is the answer. Do you agree with that? We're not Christian, but we do. God is a very, very important part of our life.
I believe there is definitely a higher power that is definitely guiding us and helping us.
It's definitely a key element in our life and our relationship.
Yeah. It's love. Yeah, it's all love.
Yeah.
And I'll just end with saying that I totally believe that love should be unconditional, and that, you know, when you love someone, there should be no conditions on your love. Like, I'll love you only if you do this. I'll love you only if you do that. You love them for who they are and what they are, and they will meet you halfway.
And have no expectations.
Have no expectations, and they'll meet you in the middle, and it'll be beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
I think what you said is just so amazing. It really resonates with me, because that's exactly what a true relationship is. You let go of your ego and you just be yourself, you know. And that's what it's all about. The person sees you without makeup, or when you wake up in the morning and you're not your best self, you know, after work. And, you know, you have to deal with that. Sometimes it's not easy, but when you love someone, you will be there for them, even when they're having a bad day or when they're sick. You know, you have to be there as well.
Totally, unconditional.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Yeah, exactly.
I never ever feel self-conscious in front of him, ever.
Yeah, you just be myself.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for joining, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I think we're going to end it here, the session, the podcast. And thanks so much again, guys, for joining me. And we'll do this again.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Bye, everyone.
Great time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.